Hello, this is Bob Brown from DeLong Rigging Solutions. The overhand knot is a fundamental knot used to make many other knots, or it can be used on its own. It's a very simple knot. Just make a bend, put your working end over the other, and pull it through the opening. Doesn't matter if it's left over right or right over left. Either way works fine. And that's an overhand knot. If you tighten it, it can be used as a stopper, but be careful. If it's too tight, it may be very difficult to untie, and that could ruin the rope. You can tie several things in place on a rope, like a strand of pearls, or wrap it through an object to hold it. Like the overhand knot, the figure-8 knot is a kind of stopper knot, and it's usually a better choice than an overhand knot if you need to tie a stopper. It's similar in that you start with a bend and continue to make a loop. Take the working end and go under the standing end, and then put the working end through the loop from the top. Let's take a look at that once again. Make the loop, go under the standing part, and into the loop from above. Loop, under, over. One reason the figure-8 knot is superior to the overhand knot is that it doesn't jam easily. If you tied it by hand, you should be able to untie it by hand. It's a great knot to use when you have a shorter length of pipe to lift. You simply slip the rope through the pipe, tie the figure-8 on the end, and as long as the knot is larger than the diameter of the pipe, it will hold. In rigging, we have several pieces of equipment that have a grooved wheel called a sheave, even though it's spelled S-H-E-A-V-E. Some folks will pronounce it sheave. Rigging folks will call it a sheave. This utility pulley has a sheave with side plates to keep the rope in the groove and a hole or loop at the top for a carabiner or shackle to mount it, which leaves both hands free to work with the rope. Sometimes we have several sheaves working together to create a block and tackle. Head blocks, loft blocks, and mule blocks are other rigging components with sheaves. When you want to make certain the rope won't pull through one of these devices, tying a figure-8 knot in the end of your line is the perfect choice. You simply run your line through the device, tie a figure-8 knot on the working end, and you don't need to worry about it pulling through. Another common use for a figure-8 is as an anchor knot. We'll start by making a bight in the middle of the rope, a loop. If we use that bight as our working end and tie a figure-8 knot, that will give us a fixed loop that you can use as an anchor for a carabiner or shackle, or even a place to step into if you need a place to stand. Let's say you want to tie into a D-ring on your harness. Then you'd use what's called a follow-through figure-8, or a rewoven figure-8. Start by tying a regular figure-8 knot about 4 feet from the end of your rope. Then I'm going to take my working end where it comes out from that knot, pull the excess through the ring of my harness until I have a loop that is the length I want it to be. Then I'm going to continue to follow the knot to parallel the original knot. That gives you the same result as a figure-8 on a bight, but you can thread your harness through the loop and not have to use a carabiner. I can do the same thing to tie onto an anchor on the wall without having a carabiner or shackle. Again, that's called a follow-through figure-8 or a rewoven figure-8. Please remember that DeLong Rigging Solutions one-shot training videos are meant as general information. Every system is different, every venue has different procedures, and even the same show in different places has different needs. All statements made make certain assumptions about systems and venue similarities. Nothing can replace on-site training with a qualified individual. If you have a question or concern about rigging, do not hesitate to reach out to us or another qualified vendor in your area.